Hello everybody and welcome back to question number 15 on the 2006 Pascal paper. Question 15 reads as follows. From 7:45 p.m. to 9:30 p.m., Jim drove a distance of 84 kilometers at a constant speed. What was this speed in kilometers per hour? Okay, how do we calculate speed? Well, to calculate speed, we need to know distance traveled over the time it took you to travel that distance. Well, they tell me pretty quickly in the question he traveled 84 kilometers. How much time did it take him to do that? Well, we know it went from 7:45 p.m. and then Jim drove all the way to sort of 9:30 p.m. So we want everything in terms of kilometers per hour. We need to know how many hours between 7:45 p.m. and 9:30 p.m. And there's sort of two ways you can go about doing this one. You can count 15 minutes gets us to 8 p.m. Then a whole hour gets us to 9 p.m. And then a whole half an hour, or 30 minutes, gets us down to the 9:30. And then that's a quarter of an hour is 15, plus a full hour, plus a half an hour, and we can calculate it that way. And that's one way I encourage people to do it. If you need to, you can even draw sort of an analog clock there and move minute hands around and everything. But that's one way that I'd handle this if I'm trying to do it in my head, is I jump to the nearest hour, then start counting by hours until at the very end I have to jump to something maybe that's not at an hour. Now another way we could do this is currently 7:45 p.m. How many hours after noon is that? 7 3/4 hours. And Jim stops driving. He has made the 84 kilometers after 9.5 hours after noon. Okay, so if I did 9.5, subtract 7 3/4, I would also get the appropriate amount of time, which is 1 3/4 hours. And that's another way to do it. Turn these whole things into fractions of hours after some fixed point like noon or midnight, that sort of thing, and take the difference there. The only thing to be careful about is 45 is not 45 out of 100. It's not 45% of the hour. It is 3/4 because there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. Okay, but either way, we can get 1 3/4 hours for how long it took Jim to go 84 kilometers. So now all that's left for us to do is to get this as a single kilometers per hour expression. I'm going to change my 1 3/4 into 7/4. Okay, because now I can invert and multiply. So this is the same as 84 kilometers times 4 over 7. And we'll get hours here. We'll leave the hours down there. But 84 over 7 is 12. So this is 4 times 12 kilometers per hour. And 4 times 12 is 48 kilometers per hour. Does this mentally make sense? After a single hour, he's gone 48 kilometers, which is a little over half of his journey. Exactly half would be if he did 96 kilometers. So he's a little more than half, and that's what we would expect. Okay, because it took him a little less than 2 hours to do this. But there's our answer, 48 kilometers per hour. And of course, if at any point you needed to get your calculator out, that's fine. But speed in kilometers per hour, that's going to be E48. And that's question number 15. Join me in the next video for question number 16.